Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening for this evening's webinar. My name is Bex and I am part of the training and education team at RDA UK, and I have the pleasure of hosting this evening's introduction to the Princess Royal Coach Academy session. I am also joined this evening by our National Training and Education Lead, Karen Thompson, who also takes on the role of one of the inaugural Princess Royal Coach Academy mentors. So thank you, Karen, for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Tonight's webinar will start with an overview of the Princess Royal Coach Academy, why the project has been set up, its aims and visions, and what it hopes to achieve and offer for coaches throughout RDA. So we then follow up with a Q&A with Karen with her Princess Royal Coach Academy mentor hat on. We do have some potential FAQs rustled up, but should you have any questions throughout any part of this evening's session, please do use either the Q&A Q&A function or the chat box. We will be monitoring those throughout this evening's session, but please do bear with us with hosting and asking questions and answering. We're juggling lots of balls in one go. Okay, so I think we'll start off with the overview. So following the launch of the Princess Royal Coach Academy on the 5th of November at the National Training Centre, we are really excited to see how we can begin to use the skills and expertise of our newly appointed mentors to support coaches on the qualifications pathway journey. The project will primarily focus on progressing coaches moving on to RDA advanced coach level by establishing and encouraging learning-led and supported coach experiences. With more advanced coaches supporting coaches further down the pathway, including those at grassroots level, this will result in a ripple effect of coach mentoring support for all. At least we hope it will, and we have very high aims it will. So our 2021/2022 coach mentors have been selected and announced, and they are Karen Thompson, who's our RDA UK National Coaching Lead. We have Sarah Healing, so part of the Greater London Regional Coach group, and a Greater London Regional Coach and part of the Pennywells RDA team. We have Mark Cunliffe, who is one of our coach developers and is also linked with the North Cornwall RDA team. We have Sister Mary Joy Langdon, a coach developer as well, and also part of Wormwood Scrubs Pony Centre group. We have Sue Adams Wheeler, an honorary life vice president and former national coaching lead. We have Bridget Backwood, Midwest Regional Coach and Lincoln Lodger RDA. And last but not least, we have Karen Glasgow, Edinburgh and Borders Regional Coach. We have a fantastic group of coaches, coach mentors that have a wealth of experience in all different parts of the RDA, and we're really excited to bring them together and establish this mentor structure to then follow through and provide support throughout. So we have now invited our coach mentors and have recently, last week, delivered a series of training dates that developed them or started to develop mentoring skills so they can share their wide range of experiences and to build relationships across the coach mentor network. So as I said, the training began last week and it will be continuing up and through to the early part of next year to March, which is when we then are looking to introduce our coach mentees. Primarily, the new mentors will support coaches who have already shown an interest in becoming advanced coaches so that we can support them to a successful assessment. Each mentor will be responsible for 2 mentees during this process. So numbers will be limited given the project's first year of delivery, with applications for coaches looking to come onto the academy and progress to advanced coach level opening in January 2022. The first 2 development training days and mentor introductions are set for early March 2022. And as part of the application process for the academy, the aspiring advanced coaches will need to identify where they feel support would be most helpful and needed. And it's from this information that mentors will be assigned depending on their outlined skill sets, values, and strengths to each coach mentee. Mentor support will be provided over the course of a 10-day development programme, followed by a formal assessment day over an anticipated period of 12 months. Throughout the 10-day programme, coaches working towards RDA advanced level will access and experience training which will help them be supportive coach mentor figures themselves. And they in turn will be asked to provide effective support to coaches further down the coaching pathway. So really utilising the skills of establishing a communities of practice and passing that through to coaches all over the country. Once the mentees have successfully been assessed to advanced coach level, we will then invite them each to become Princess Royal Coach mentors themselves, plus open applications for other advanced coaches to apply to become coach mentors. We will look to do this every year and thus perpetuating a fresh cycle of support and knowledge throughout the RDA coaching pathway. Meanwhile, we will shape the assessment itself for the advanced coach level and plan to offer a pre-assessment development day for those hoping to be assessed, as due to delays caused by COVID, we have not yet held an advanced coach assessment day. Alongside this work, we hope to be able to develop the academy to include coaches at all levels and within all disciplines, so that we can encourage new coaches through each pathway once we have a successful mentoring template. So this is the start of a long-term approach to encouraging the sharing of knowledge and expertise on coaching throughout RDA via mentoring. Overall aims and why we're so excited. The Academy will aid the creation of a knowledge bank to capture and share coaching skills and expertise across the coaching pathway in various areas of the country through mentoring and practical skill development. We will also identify and nurture talent and excellence which currently exists across RDA to develop a cohort of high-performing advanced coaches to be really highly effective leaders who can communicate effectively to inspire, motivate, influence, and innovate their peers and those they support in order to progress learning and development across the whole RDA coaching pathway. If you are a coach who is looking or thinking that they may want to progress to RDA advanced coach level, and with this progression, access the many fantastic development and learning opportunities that the Princess Royal Coach Academy is set to offer, please send me across an email with your expressed interest. My email address is rheath@rda.org.uk. That's rheath, Heath @rda.org.uk. Okay, so we'll move now. The overview is complete, is done. The condensed as much. So Karen, one of the new inaugural Princess Royal Coach Academy mentors. What an opportunity. What excites you about this new mentor role?
Well, I think I've always been really passionate about supporting coaches, and to a certain extent we're always doing that, because within our groups we're supporting coaches and we're being supportive of each other. Those of you that hold county or regional coaching roles, you know, you're actually out there already going into groups and supporting and helping coaches. if you're a coach developer, then again, that's another coach support. So we're already actually partly doing this, but I think this mentorship is just taking it all to another level. And I think to be able to offer that support to people who want to progress up the pathway and become an advanced coach is just, well, it's just really awe-inspiring. And to be in here right at the very beginning and to be part of that training last week was just, well, it was mind-blowing, really. I mean, it was such a steep learning curve for us all. I think we all found it quite challenging and quite emotional in places, which took us all by surprise. But I think, you know, we're already developing that community of mentors. We've got so much with the people that have come forward already and been selected. There's so much experience and such a diverse wealth of talent and expertise that to be able to tap into that and to be able to, you know, to take this forward, I think it's really exciting. I think sometimes, you know, when you're a coach in your group, you can feel a little bit, maybe not the word isolated is perhaps the wrong word, but, you know, you're just doing your own thing within your group. I know I felt like this occasionally. And you know, you're very happy, but you don't really feel, you know, think, well, if I'm getting a bit stuck, who do I go to? And I really wish this had sort of, you know, wish this had happened a long time ago, because I know when I did the advanced coaching, well, senior coaches it was called then, that, you know, it was tough to go out there and find out what you needed to know. So yeah, it's just brilliant to be part of it.
Great. No, very exciting stuff. So what support then will be provided by a Princess Royal Academy mentor? What does that look like?
Well, we're going to be a sounding board, really. So it'll be somebody that you can, that's got your back. Yeah, somebody that you can kind of phone up, you know, when you're having a really bad day and it's just really not working, you know, you can phone somebody out and we'll sort of give you support. It's non-judgmental, it's not biased or anything like that. So it's going to be, you know, just say, you know, you're doing okay. Or if you need to offload, if it's really, I've just got to sort of phone somebody up and just let them know, you know, I'm struggling, I'm really feeling that I'm not in a good place, that I can't carry on, then we're going to be there to help and support you, hopefully, and to, you know, and to show you how, you know, tell you that you are doing okay and show you how you can overcome these challenges, because it is challenging. It's a big ask to go from green to advanced. It's a massive ask.
It's a really big ask. And we all have good days and we all have bad days. So the opportunity, like you say, to sort of offload and run by and just ask, am I doing okay? And tips and tricks, I mean, will never go missed and never be unturned in the opportunity that a mentorship will offer.
And everybody that's, you know, that's our mentors, we are all coaches. We do understand. We have been there, you know, so we have empathy, we have understanding as to the trials and tribulations, and hopefully, you know, as well as sort of, you know, sort of giving sort of support, and, you know, we will be able to give you some ideas and some, like you say, some tips as to how, you know, and maybe show you some ways forward. But really, it's very much the support that we can offer it's whatever the mentee wants. It's very much led by the mentee. So we will find out, I think, is going to be the answer as to what sort of support is needed.
Absolutely. So in terms of mentoring then, does it always have to be face-to-face, the mentoring?
No, from what I understand, it's you know, it can be face-to-face. I think that we are the sort of baseline support of 4 Zoom calls, plus a face-to-face coaching sort of practical day together,
like an observation type.
So but that's the baseline, and so it's going to be, you know, for some people that will be enough, it will be, but other people might find that they want a little bit more support than that, and that's what we're there for. So but the great thing about technology, and we're all getting a little bit better at managing the technology, is that it's so easy just to dial up a Zoom call and to have that sort of, it's nearly face-to-face, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the national championships really should have showed true to that, didn't it? We had a whole championships without being in the same arena. So coach observations for sure will be a walk in the park, I would have thought.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, with sort of iPhones and things like that, to be able to video little bits of what you're doing, and just sort of saying, am I going along the right lines? How would I improve this rider? It's going to be really exciting. It's just so great that we're actually able to use technology and hopefully make it work for us.
I bet. And I bet there's definitely going to be learning there, not just for the mentees, but the mentors as well throughout the programme. I'm sure that through sort of the observation of different sessions and different ways and sort of different skill sets and excellence levels in terms of what RDA coaching encompasses, and that huge variety of what an RDA coach session is. There's so much to take on, and I'm really excited to sort of gauge and monitor and look back and go, do you know, a year ago, look at everything that we've sort of, we thought we knew what was going on, but actually there's so much more, and the excellence that's been delivered is truly sort of awe-inspiring.
And I think that, going back to the virtual championships, that one of the really fascinating things about the virtual, watching it all, was seeing all the backgrounds and how, all the various arenas that people deliver their sessions in, and the different horses. And so it's going to be really great to sort of, be able to sort of have a little window as a coach, as a mentor, to be able to have a window into another coach's life and to see what's going on. And we will be learning from each other. And I think that's really important. It is about sharing experiences. I mean, we talk a lot about, the RDA family. We often refer to the RDA as a family, but this is going to be a coaching community, and to a certain extent it's already happening, because it's great to see things on the RDA coaches page on Facebook, and the young and new coaches, which actually bizarrely I'm a member of. But it's really great to see that there's that there are these platforms already where people are sharing videos, being brave enough to put things out there and say, well, how am I doing? And obviously this is just taking that a step further, and offering really sort of tailored support towards a mentee.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the need for the coaches that are coming through this academy to then provide that support, but essentially we're really conscious of supporting those that are supporting others. So if we can sort of help them identify where their strengths lie and how they can support down, there's going to be such a variety, and it will really help not just those coaches directly part of the academy, but those that sort of filter underneath, and to encourage the sort of progression or ambition to want to then drive on and provide that support, because ultimately that's what a coach is. It's somebody that just wants to help and challenge, whether it be riders or peers, and so on and so forth. It's very exciting project that will unfold in many different ways.
And I think there's a massive sort of sea change, and I mean, I can remember going back many years when I was a younger coach, that you were always in awe of anybody that was more experienced of you, and they seemed to have the sort of magic tricks that they really weren't going to let anybody else know about. And I think now there's such a culture of sharing, and I think within RDA particularly, that's really important, that we feel that that's what we need to do. We need to not just hold things and sort of be a bit close, but but share everything and be willing to give out.
I couldn't agree more. And there may be a coach that's been in the sort of industry for 30 plus years, and yes, has some experiences, but they may be paired or may come into contact with a really new and young, innovative coach that just sort of comes in a completely different angle. And then to have that opportunity that ordinarily wouldn't have been there, to then, no doubt the young coach will then pick up tips and tricks, as we've said, but then the coach that's been in it years and years, that every day is a school day, I say.
And you never stop learning. Whenever I go into any RDA group, there's always something that I just think, oh, that's good, I'll have that, and take that and add it into my own repertoire. So I think it's great, and also learning from our mistakes. So that's something else that's really important, is as a mentee, if you're coming onto this, the only way you're going to get good is to make loads and loads and loads of mistakes. And nowadays, so many people, you know, you see it out there with people that are saying, well, the only reason why I'm successful is because I've got this massive pile of mistakes behind me, and that they were brave enough to put themselves out there and make those mistakes. And it's, you know, and it's exactly the same when you're coaching. It doesn't matter if things go wrong. That's the way you learn.
Yeah, and the culture of RDA in its sense, in terms of the ethos of what it is, I would hope then encourages the acknowledgement that not everybody has every answer, and with these mistakes, coaches are able to then reflect on it and go, do you know, if I could go back in time, I'd slightly adapt and change this. But having the ability to speak with riders, with volunteers, with the groups that they're in, and really open up and be open-minded to trying new things and new ways. And it can just evolve to something spectacular.
Yeah,
very
exciting, isn't it?
It is.
And going back to what you were saying about, you know, the sort of the difference, you know, the mentors who have been chosen because they come from such a diverse backgrounds. You know, if because we're all sharing, if it turns out that, you know, somebody's with me and I think, well, actually I'm not quite too sure how to help you here, then we'll be able to signpost you somewhere to somebody that can. And so, you know, that in itself is really inspiring to know that we're going to have the capacity to do that. Yeah,
and on a national front as well, because RDA have very, very good structured regional areas whereby I've witnessed firsthand the real strength in sort of coach training and that sort of cohort of developers and county coaches and regional coaches, but to be able to further that and expand nationally, oh my goodness, it's like times like tenfold worth of sort of opportunity. Yeah, no, quite. Okay, so just coming back, we sort of went off on a tangent, no doubt, but just coming back to the FAQs.
Yeah.
So if you've agreed to meet a mentee at a session to go and support them, and it doesn't quite work out, numbers aren't right, or there's slight hiccups at the session, do they need to be worried, or how will that
gosh, no. I mean, I think that's very much, you know, when we go in as coach developers and things don't work out, you know, that is life.
Yeah.
And you know, by the time you've added all the complications of RDA and the volunteers and the horses, and you know, it happens. We know it happens, so we don't expect things to be perfect. But you know, what's going to be really good, and what we would expect is that, you know, particularly on the advanced coach way, is that people have strategies to help themselves out of that, and that they can recognize that things are going astray and be able to come back on and put themselves back onto some sort of course. And if not, like I say, it's a mistake and we all learn from it and we work out, and if they haven't got the strategy, then that's what we're there for, to help them put that strategy into place and say, well, you know, next time if this was going to happen, how would you deal with it, and what would you think of, and we can help them reflect on that. And you know, that's it, isn't it? You've got to have experienced everything, and you've got to have such a broad knowledge in order to be able to sort of come up with that moment of brilliance when you need it.
Yeah, I bet. So, and I'm sure you can speak on behalf of all the other mentors, no doubt, but as a mentor, how committed are you in helping the coach mentees that will be assigned to you in achieving success?
Well, we wouldn't be on this program if we weren't committed, I don't think.
Yeah, no, quite.
So, you know, it's.
And what are your expectations as well?
Well, we have to be, you know, the mentee has to want to do it. So I think that's fundamentally really important, that we can't make somebody want to do it. So that is something that they have to have within themselves. And then our job really is to take that ambition and to see if we can help them along with the pathway. So it is very much going to be driven by the mentee. So, you know, if you're going to come on this pathway, you have to be committed, and you have to be committed to the learning and you know, being able to put yourself out there and give everything your best shot. And then our job is to really offer you that support so that we can help you, you know, achieve. And it's really about achieving your ambition. This is not It's not our ambition that you become an advanced coach, it's your ambition. But our measure of success will be whether you achieve that or not. So that's how we will measure our impact, is by the success of others.
Yeah,
so it's quite, you know, it's quite selfless in a way. I mean, we are going to get something out of it because we will get a huge satisfaction by watching other people achieve. Because it's not our goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm coming back to that mentor-mentee, but both roles will hugely benefit in terms of that ability to sort of not only sort of use each other as a sounding board, essentially, but learn from each other, learn from the different techniques and sort of ways in which coaching can be delivered. No, great. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm then going to move on. I just, there's a few more FAQs that sort of came through. Again, anybody that's sort of watching, if you've got any questions, please do feel free to send them through. But the last sort of couple that I drew up was, do I have to have a mentor to become an RDA advanced coach? And sort of giving thought to this, really the answer alludes to the Princess Royal Coach Academy encompasses so much more than just achieving an RDA coaching level. It's got an underlying aim to develop such strong communities of practice, which involve everything that we've spoken about, the sharing of ideas and resources. And there's a fundamental element of mentorship that is a requirement for anyone looking to be a part of the academy and who subsequently wants to progress to advanced coach level. And then lastly, just throwing in, throwing one in the mix, being, can I change my mentor if the partnership isn't working? Playing devil's advocate here. And I think I'd refer to, so as mentioned earlier in the overview, as part of the application process for the academy, the aspiring advanced coaches will need to identify or begin to identify where they feel support would be most helpful and needed, and really encourage their own, the responsibility for their own learning. And from this information, the mentors will be assigned, depending on their outlined skill sets, values and strengths, to each coach mentee. So it may not necessarily be the coach mentor that you may know of some of them, you may not know of some of them, but it may not necessarily think, I know so-and-so down the road, she's a fantastic network in there. But having identified where it is that you feel that you could do with support and sort of really help you with your progression may not necessarily align with the sort of values and strengths of the mentor that you at first glance thought. So that's the process really in terms of how the assigning is. However, should the partnership experience unforeseen difficulties, which in turn are unlikely to enable conducive progression, we can look at other options within a reasonable remit. So essentially, we're crossing those bridges as they come and really sort of learning from this process. It is a new project, and where we set goals and aims, they may not necessarily be smooth sailing. So it's really very much a learning process for all involved. Okay, so I see in the Q&A we've got
We've got a question.
So what will mentors be looking for in prospective mentees? Karen, do you want to answer that one?
That's really quite hard to answer. I mean, hopefully you want to be an advanced coach. I think you're looking at that the wrong way around. It's really, what do you want from us? Because at the end of the day, this is very much going to be driven by the mentee. So we don't really have any expectations. You know, we're going to meet you, and our job really is to help you formulate things like working out your strengths and your values, and your philosophy on coaching, and it's all going to be that side of it that actually as mentors we're having to think hard about well, what are our strengths and values? So, you know, we've done quite a bit of work on that over the last few days, and it's so we don't really have any expectations.
Yeah.
Other than that commitment, other than wanting to do it.
Yeah, I think that's what we've alluded to essentially is I think it's a real plus side for the sort of the project in being the coach mentees. If they are as committed as the coach mentors are, that relationship, that working relationship, can be nothing but productive because there's commitment on both sides, and both are equally invested in helping each other develop and progress. Yeah. Like you say, we'll measure the successes of the achievements of our goals that we set throughout this mentoring process and 12-month scale. So do we have, before we, unbelievably, we've hit the 30-minute mark dead on. We are. I don't think it's the first time I've stuck on time for anything. But has anybody else got any other questions? If there's something that sort of you think later on this evening, gosh, I really wish I'd have asked that, please do feel free. Drop me an email. Again, my email address is rheath, Heath, @rda.org.uk. Drop me an email and I'll answer as best I can. Again, it's very much a new project and we are taking on so much learning as we go through and progress through, and we're chopping, we're changing, we're adapting to really make sure that this project fits the need. It's purpose built, fits the needs of the coaches that are going to come through. So welcome all questions that come. Okay, so I think for the time being, the Q&A chat and the chat function is pretty silent and quiet. Thank you everybody that has attended this evening. I hope you found this overview really useful. Thank you, Karen, for joining us this evening. As ever, very, very good to hear from you, especially as your new role as Princess Royal Coach Academy mentor. So watch this space, folks. Really exciting project, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Brilliant. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. Bye-bye.